In just a few hours, Pakistan showed the world it could take on the Indian Air Force, anytime, anywhere. They didn't just win a battle, they shattered the myth that sheer numbers make India the fourth strongest air force in the world. That title, at least in this story, belongs to Pakistan, with its elite pilots who flew like something straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster. Armed with the Chinese J-10C, they reportedly shot down 4 Rafales, plus Su-30s, Mirage 2000s and MiG-29s, and even went further, taking out an Indian S-400 system. But here's the scary question. If Pakistan can do this with the J-10, how much stronger could they become if they receive the 5th-gen J-35? That's the billion-dollar question we're going to tackle today. As we mentioned in our last video, Pakistan is the only country with pilots whose records are nothing short of legendary. Take one example. A Pakistani pilot once shot down an Israeli fighter jet while flying a MiG-21 he barely knew. The cockpit was in Russian, the radar station worked in Arabic, and he had just 2 days to adapt. Yet, against all odds, he mastered it and humiliated Israel by taking down their jet. If you want the full story, check the link in the description. But even that story doesn't compare to the readiness of Pakistan's Air Force today. Unlike Western pilots, who often relax in bars and waste time, Pakistani pilots devote themselves entirely to being the best. Their discipline, focus and faith give them an edge that no amount of Hollywood-style training in the US can match. And if you think the pilots themselves are Pakistan's only superweapon, think again. The true mastermind behind Pakistan's air power is what makes the entire force even more dangerous. Pakistan's air power isn't just about brave pilots, it's about the doctrine and the minds shaping it. The entire strategy is built on top-tier training and systems that most countries know little about. Almost all of Pakistan's equipment is either homegrown or sourced from China, and unlike the US, where details of every weapon leak online, Chinese systems remain shrouded in mystery. The J-10C, for example, is still an enigma to the West. But that's only part of the story. Pakistan's air force is fully integrated. Its air defense systems, AWACS, and fighter jets constantly communicate, sharing data in real time. That means a missile launched by a Pakistani fighter can be guided by an AWACS, and a missile fired from the ground can be steered by a jet in the sky. Yet Pakistan isn't satisfied with simply being excellent. They're aiming to be the very best, and they have 2 bold moves in mind that could change the game entirely. We've talked about the J-10C, but what about Pakistan's homemade fighter, the JF-17? Unlike India, which has struggled to produce a consistent indigenous fighter at scale, Pakistan has been operating and upgrading its own jet for years. Recently, they revealed the new JF-17 Block 3, fitted with an AESA radar that can reportedly detect a Rafale from 200 kilometers. This version also includes improved electronic warfare systems, but the headline feature is the helmet-mounted display, which allows a Pakistani pilot to lock onto an enemy aircraft simply by looking at it. That's a massive capability upgrade, and the insane part is that even Russia does not widely field such a system today. If you think that's impressive, we haven't even reached the best parts of Pakistan's program. The first big plan. Pakistan intends to build its own 5th-generation fighter. That's right. Just like the United States, Russia and China, Pakistan wants to join the club of stealth fighter producers and become a true global air power. Islamabad is collaborating with Turkey, which is developing its own 5th-gen fighter Khan, and has partnerships with Saudi Arabia, with possible cooperation from Iran and Azerbaijan, to create a homegrown stealth platform. Unlike India's AMCA program, which has slipped repeatedly, I believe Pakistan's 5th-gen project could see flight tests well before India's. The second big plan. Pakistan will receive the Chinese J-35. I also believe China will support Pakistan's new project, so between roughly 2030 and 2035, Pakistan could field its own stealth fighter. And until then, the J-35 will bolster Pakistan's capabilities and, in theory, humiliate Indian air power just like earlier clashes. But what does the J-35 actually give Pakistan's air force? First, Pakistan would gain the ability to challenge newer versions of the Rafale and even India's future AMCA designs. As soon as Pakistan fields the J-35, it could be years, even a decade ahead of India in certain areas. Second, the J-35's stealth, advanced electronic warfare, long-range missiles such as the PL-15E, and the potential addition of long-range hypersonic weapons. China has been testing systems with ranges over 500 kilometers, would let Pakistan penetrate deep into Indian airspace, strike AWACS and other high-value targets, and render parts of India's air defense network useless, burnt scrap metal. This is top-tier tech combined with some of the most committed pilots on the planet. Remember, if the J-10 already outperformed many American and European fighters in past encounters, then a J-35, backed by Chinese tech and Pakistan's doctrine, could challenge even the F-35 and F-22. That's how powerful a China-Pakistan alignment could be. On top of that, new defense ties between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and the possible addition of partners like Iran, Qatar, Egypt and Turkey would form a broader coalition that reshapes regional dynamics. For India and Israel, this could be a catastrophic shift. We're watching a new power balance emerge, and I'm glad to be sharing it with you. Thank you for your support. Before you leave, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It helps us get a stronger voice on YouTube. Because the bigger our voice on YouTube, the more stories like this we can bring to you.